How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here with another video, and of course it's time for another Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. So in the last draft preview, we took a look at the top Day 3 linebacker prospects for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And in this video, we're going to wrap up the draft previews for this year's draft class by taking a look at the top Day 3 defensive back and safety prospects for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Our final draft preview, we wrap it up with the secondary. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to wrap the secondary class in the draft previews and see which names to keep an eye on for Day 3 of the draft for the secondary. So let's go. Starting off with the corners and defensive backs. The first one we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Ohio State, standing 5'11", weighing 194 pounds, we got Denzel Burke. So for Denzel's strengths, has a fierce downhill trigger, shows up when he keys into a run play or is asked to blitz. He pops out of play, gets the top speed quickly. Acceleration matches most of the guys he's covering, as does his body type. Long arms, good muscle, physical and press coverage, engaging with the hand fighting quickly, using it to slow the receiver down, allowing his natural athleticism to help him contain working out the seam. Has lots of experience and good reps in both man and zone coverage, should adjust well to any scheme that he's placed in. Lots of starting experience under his belt. In terms of weaknesses, though, had a hard time following the route, gets a bit tripped up when facing sinks or other routes that involve a little bit of diagonal movement. Not always paying the most attention to what play is developing in front of him, too patient to get involved in non-pass plays at times. Maybe a coaching thing, but he gives out a lot of space to opposing wideouts, has to work down so often this tape. Cannot stop running himself into traffic when he's providing run support. He doesn't turn around to track the ball, too focused on figuring out what kind of play is going down to play at 100% at the end of the route and finishes reps strong. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to now retired corner Sharisi White. Overall, a lot of things look at Denzel's game. He can play in any pack, any man or zone coverage scheme. I think somebody to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Cal, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 197 pounds, we got Noel Williams. So for Noel's strengths, has the most impressive ball production in the class, 7 picks on the season, adept at creeping, laying low in the zone, and using explosive traits to get to the ball and make splash plays. Lots of quality physicality in his game where he uses his hands to slow receivers down. Is instinctual, grabby, takes good angles to receiver, tackles well in the open field, builds about perfect to play on the boundary, moves smoothly, able to switch from vertical to horizontal movements without losing any of his speed. Cameron Ward afforded him all game during their matchup because he was sticking to Miami receivers like glue if you want to watch some tape there. In terms of his weaknesses, though, worried that he's not fast enough to handle number 1 receivers at the next level. He gets beat over the top at least once a game. Man technique's inconsistent. Footwork can get a little too shoddy when opposing wide receivers get shifty against him. He's more interested in the ball than covering a receiver, which can take him out of position when he's tracking and is not up to snuff. Never particularly active in run defense. Has a hard time fighting through wide receiver blocks to get the chance to make plays. Wants the ball to be thrown at him too much, so he'll give up cushion to make it he can't make up ground for. In terms of NFL comparison, he's been compared to Harrison Hannity, Atlanta Falcons. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Noel's game. Couple things to clean up, but I think somebody to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Louisville, standing 5'10", weighing 196 pounds, we got Quincy Riley. So for Quincy's strengths, great ball tracking ability, turns quickly to make plays on the ball. Good long speed, able to unlock a second gear down a stretch, makes him well equipped to cover deep threats. Impressive at handling quick breakdowns at the middle of the field. Has good jitter in his game. Explosive back pedal down the field. Exactly what you look for in a bump and run corner. Body control is great. Able to contort himself to get his hands on the ball. Makes tailgate deflections in difficult situations look easy. In terms of weaknesses, though, shorter than the average player. Probably a slot exclusive guy, which will not help him rise throughout the process. Doesn't handle big receivers well. Picked on for contested catches. Instincts and zone coverage are messy. Has some lapses where he lost track of receivers, gave up touchdowns. Run support gets him rocked more often than he makes clean tackles. Too skinny, doesn't compensate with consistent physicality. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Ronald Darby and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Overall, a lot of things to look at Quincy's game, few things to clean up, but I think somebody to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Minnesota, standing 5'10", weighing 190 pounds. We got Justin Wally. So for Justin's strength, solid tackling technique, can clean up after reception, support linebackers in the open field. Ball skills are strong with good interception numbers, even able to convert a few into touchdowns. Looks to have good length for a guy his size, has the potential to play both outside and slot. Pretty twitchy, doesn't get fooled by double moves as long as the route continues down the field. Works hard to disengage from blocks when he helps out run support duties. Has enough functional strength to handle those duties. Good all-around that handles press technique well, understands how to track receivers who are moving in between zones, and he finishes his reps well. In terms of weaknesses though, slower than the average corner, doesn't backpedal well, plays a bit upright in his stance to compensate for lack of size. It slows him down in game. He gets picked on during deep routes because despite decent twitch acceleration, he doesn't have the second gear to keep up with his sticky coverage 20 or more yards down the field. Carries too much forward momentum, has a hard time adjusting the corner routes, comeback routes. A little shorter stature can be outmatched against big-bodied wideouts. Hips are not incredibly fluid, and sometimes it'll cause him to turn his whole body around instead of just moving the hips around. In terms of NFL comparisons, being compared to free agent corner Mackenzie Alexander. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Justin's game. A few things to clean up, but somebody to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here. Hailing out of Kansas, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 190 pounds, he got Mello Dotson. In terms of Mello's strengths, has the nose for the ball, plays every rep like he's the intended receiver. He had 4 pick sixes in his career, including 2 in the last 2 years, which is very impressive. A skill set should be translatable to us as skills to operate through traffic, sort through complicated plays, extend to his corner position as well. Great run stopper, getting off his blocks well. Arm length's impressive, reads the QB's eyes but doesn't stare him down. Balanced skill set and zone coverage, it looks fluid movement down the field, it follows the receiver as well. In terms of weakness though, he misses a second gear acceleration, has limited explosiveness. Not quite the level of concern keeping pace, but seems like the type of guy you could expect the occasional blown coverage from by virtue of high-end talent at the next level. Man coverage is a bit undeveloped, limited physicality to gain a rep, bit nasty as a tackler, and often tries to go for the wrap-up before he's in place. Doesn't do much against the run because he cannot disengage from his blocks. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to now retired corner Kevin Johnson. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Mel's game. A few things got to work on and clean up, but somebody to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of UCF, standing 6'1", weighing 186 pounds, we got B.J. Adams. So with B.J.'s strengths, great size, length for the position, very good hip fluidity, lateral ability for a big corner, very good recovery, mirroring reps, good reaction time, adjusts quickly to a ball carrier's movement. Good tackler that wraps up well, has had no missed tackles in 2024. He can play in a slot on the boundary, flashes a good physicality at the catch point. In terms of weaknesses though, poor sloppy footwork in his back pedal, lacks play strength, doesn't reliably jam receivers off the line. Sloppy player at times with a habit of losing balance. Hand timing, placement, and press needs refinement. Lacks great zone or match zone IQ in terms of route timing or match recognition. Dealt with nagging back issues in 2024. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Carrington, Valentine, and the Green Bay Packers. Overall, a lot of things to like out of this game, few things to clean up. Could that health history come back to haunt him? Only time will tell. It will probably be a gamble taking him if he can't stay healthy. And the final corner we're going to go over in this video before we move on to safeties. We have hailing out of LSU, standing 6'1", weighing 192 pounds. We got Cy Alexander. In terms of size, strengths, great size, length for the position, good physicality when pressing off the line or when attacking the ball in the air. Good ball skills, flashes background as a wide receiver. Technical player, good press technique, clean footwork in his back pedal. Great run defending, defensive back, tackles low, takes good angles to the ball carrier. Had minimal missed tackles in 2024. In terms of weaknesses though, extremely slow, stiff that maybe forced him to play safety. Limited hip fluidity, change of direction, explosiveness makes him a liability when asked to recover. Matchup concerns when asked him to cover or tackle, extremely shifty receivers. Limited special team value was returned due to his lack of athleticism. Lacks significant special teams experience. Injury concerns with an ACL tear in 2023. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Eli Ricks of the Philadelphia Eagles. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game, but a few things that could damage his stock is a little bit of health history. I think there are better corners you can take in this class than him, so I'm going to say pass. Now moving on to safeties. The first one we're going to go over here, hailing out of Texas, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 190 pounds, we got Andrew Mukuba. So for Andrew, he's your prototype coverage safety, so very good at coverage because he's smooth in reverse, good instincts to see deep routes develop. In terms of his strengths, has top-tier speed, impressive ball skills, flashes elite range in the deep part of the field, willing tackler, is comfortable playing on a big stage, has competed against some of the nation's top talent in the SEC, allowed 0 touchdowns in coverage last season, strong hands, can rip the ball away in jump point ball situations, triumphs, jumps to high point in traffic, knows what's coming, uses athleticism and speed to get in position, straight line speed, can run with most number 1 receivers. In terms of weaknesses, though, skinny frame makes him a target of NFL coordinators and blockers. Not a great matchup against bulky, powerful tight ends. Could be a player that some teams fall in love with and others rank well on their draft boards because of concerns about his size. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Jalen Simpson with the New York Jets. Overall, a lot of things to look at Andrew's game. Does a lot of things right. I think somebody to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Oklahoma, standing 5'10", weighing 194 pounds, we got Billy Bowman Jr. So for Billy's strengths, he's known for his ball skills, also physical, gets to put more plays than he showed top instincts. A lot of coaches at Oklahoma gave him high marks for competitiveness. He's a track star in high school, ran a 10.8 in a 100-meter dash. Doesn't mind mirroring receivers at phase or matching their strides over distance. Playmaker's mentality, focus, hands, determination, can finish plays, all stand out. He was second nation in interceptions in 2023. Takes pride in his football instincts, anticipation in the secondary, and press scouts at the Senior Bowl. Bank on him rising as the draft nears. In terms of weaknesses, though, he's undersized. If you put him behind, say, Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, who's another Oklahoma Sooner, near the sideline, there's probably not much you can do about being boxed out. If he measured 6'2", he would be near the top of the rankings. But he is not shy when it comes to defending against the run, but his limitations in terms of height and weight, he could put him at a disadvantage against large opponents who are looking to stiff arm or steamroll tacklers. He's better equipped to defend the pass game than he is to stuff the run. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Darnell Savage and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. Does a lot of things right despite being a bit undersized. I think somebody to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Wisconsin, standing 6'2", weighing 211 pounds, we got Hunter Wohler. So for Hunter's strengths, had good size, versatility, and the football IQ to contribute with little training as a rookie. Natural blitzer, quick first step, comfortable at the line of scrimmage and zone coverage, physical as a tackler, capable of linking hips with tight ends on short area routes, natural fit as a special teams contributor in the NFL. Heady player, natural instincts, earned academic All Big Ten honors. Some of his best performances came against some of the top teams of the conference. In terms of weaknesses, though, he showed some stiffness in the lower body. Athletic ceiling's limited. Range is inconsistent. Doesn't have the close and speed to track receivers who gain a step on him. Not a high ceiling player that could dominate his position. Average ball production, only 3 career interceptions in 4 years. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Miles Killebrew of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Hunter's game. Does a lot of things right. Few things to clean up, but I think somebody to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Maryland, standing 5'11", weighing 196 pounds, we got Dante Trader. So for Dante's strength, stands out defending the run, playing zone coverage. Highly competitive, driven to finish tackles, gets downhill, consistently displays great tackling technique. Very good awareness before the snap through the play, and knowing the run and routes against. He'll be disruptive from start to finish. Also played with cross from Maryland early in his college career, implying not only athleticism and versatility, but also the mind to handle multiple responsibilities in the Big Ten. He's also a team leader, a high IQ guy. In terms of his weaknesses, though, Good but not great speed, inconsistent acceleration in zone. He won't be a number one option in man coverage at the next level. Doesn't have the skill set of a single high NFL safety. Slightly undersized, may struggle with matchup against tight ends or taller wide receivers. He was sidelined by an arm injury during 2024, but he missed just 2 games. Doesn't have injury concerns long term. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Buda Baker, the Arizona Cardinals. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game. A leader of men, very smart player. You know, it's not, even though he has some injuries in college, it doesn't seem to be too effective. So I think the Lions will definitely be keeping an eye on him for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Iowa, standing 5'11", weighing 202 pounds, he got Sebastian Castro. So for Sebastian's strengths, diagnosis plays well, perhaps aided partly by his background as a high school QB, partly by learning from Iowa's system. Has a high motor, leans in the hit stick when bringing down receivers. Had 8 tackles for a loss to go with 3 interceptions, with one of them being a pick 6 in 2023 when he garnered All-American recognition. Prefers to play inside, lets his ball skills do the talking. Has held his own in zone coverage situations. He's also been listed as one of the top sleeper picks in this draft class because there's a good history in the NFL with Iowa defensive backs. And Sebastian can do a little bit of everything if he's in the right defensive scheme. In terms of weaknesses, though, he's so eager to launch into a tackle that he misses some, particularly on play fakes. Lacks great acceleration, won't pull anyone away with his speed. He'll be limited by his size, but he matches up with NFL tight ends. Concerns about press technique. Versatile sub-package defender, will not be a fit for every scheme. On the older side of the spectrum, he'll turn 25 during his rookie year. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Brian Branch of the Detroit Lions. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Sebastian's game. He could do damn near anything in a defense if you put him in the right scheme. I think somebody definitely to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Alabama, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 198 pounds. He got Milwaukee Moore. So for Milwaukee's strengths, has the odyssey and versatility to play multiple roles in the defensive backfield. Reliable man coverage, zone coverage against the run. Was an interception machine at Bama, but shown the ability to break on the ball. Made great plays in intermediate zone coverage. Heady back-end defender, good instincts, easy to see that he knows where the ball is going before a QB does on reps. In terms of weaknesses, though, he doesn't have elite speed and doesn't bring difference-making physicality in the box. Raises questions about his appropriate position in the play scheme. Too passive, doesn't seek contact. He fought through multiple injuries in 2023. Needed surgery on an undisclosed injury at the end of 2024. Missed the Senior Bowl as a result. He'll return 2024 after week 1 of the 2025 season, possibly eliminating his long-term potential. Showed lack of composure, maturity at the end of Alabama's upset loss to Vanderbilt, so that could be a red flag there. He's also been listed as a player that could disappoint in the NFL because unless he shows improvement tackling in the open field and willingly engage receivers near the line, NFL role is up in the air. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Will Harris of the New Orleans Saints. Overall, a lot of things to like out of his game, but there are a lot of things to clean up on all aspects, including maturity-wise, a bit of an injury history, you know. And I feel like his maturity issues are going to come back to bite him because, like I mentioned before, the Lions don't want no turds in their culture. I think there are better options in this draft class than him. So in terms of Milwaukee, I'm gonna say pass. So the next player we're gonna go over here. Hailing out of Iowa State, standing 6'3", weighing 220 pounds, we got Malik Ferdin. So for Malik's strengths, linebacker, big safety for nickel, heavy goal line packages, excellent tackle production in the Big 12. Best with a rolling start, making plays in front of him. Determined tackler, good accuracy, doesn't miss tackles going for a kill shot. Can blanket tight ends, use frame length to defend fast receivers. Does show recovery range when dropped into the deep middle, which showed up against Iowa if you want to watch some tape there. Hits with a purpose, will lower the boom on receivers and backs. Takes on blocks willingly. In terms of weaknesses, though, 2 seasons as a starter, which ended in injury. He was not available to measure up at the Senior Bowl due to injury in the Big 12 title game. Eager run defender, isn't a great match against deep speed. Reacts to first read, can be slow to reverse and get back into play. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Marquez Bell of the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Malik's game, but a few things to clean up on, and a bit of an injury history. I think this would be a gamble taking Malik for sure. But maybe it could be solid depth. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Toledo, standing 5'11", weighing 193 pounds. We got Maxton Hook. Silver Maxton strengths, tackle machine in Toledo, captain traits, all the intangibles you can pack into a scouting report. Was fast and competitive enough in the MAC, matching up against slot receivers, tight ends when called upon. Not a fluid mover, missteps are fatal at the next level if you can't quickly recover. Experience shows up on film. He collected more than 250 tackles the last 3 years. Willing to fight forward and quits wearing the special teams cap until there's room in the secondary. In terms of weaknesses, though, he's listed at 6'6", 203 by Toledo. Tiny measurements at the Senior Bowl that were a red flag. Longer arms help offset the height weight. Plays quick because of instincts, highly trained for process than what's in front of him. But playing speed will not be viewed as an asset. He turns 24 during his rookie training camp. He's not slow, but average long speed and agility in tight quarters. It won't be easily mastered in an NFL scheme. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Geno Stone of the Cincinnati Bengals. Overall, a lot of things to like out of Maxton's game. A few things to clean up, but I think this is definitely someone to line on, so we'll be keeping an eye on for sure. And the final safety, the final set player in the secondary, the final player we're going to go over inside this video. We have hailing out of Virginia, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 206 pounds. We got Jonas Sanker. Silver Jonas' strengths, gained a reputation for dissecting plays, reacting with swift and decisive movements. Consistent in the right position, team leader, strong in run support, willing to attack and shed blocks near the point of attack. Long arms for his height, 6'5" wingspan to jam receivers of disengage from blocks. In terms of weaknesses, though, not ideal to match up with elite speedsters, vulnerable against deep threats, especially left in one-on-one situations. Smallish frame to compete with, power tight ends, shed blocks at the point. Limitations might not leave much flexibility in his role. He wasn't asked to drop deep and cover half of the field. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Buda Baker, the Arizona Cardinals. Overall, one of the things to like out of Jonas' game, a few things to clean up, but I think somebody to keep an eye on for sure. And now to wrap it up for this Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Preview. In fact, that wraps it up for all the draft previews for this year's draft class. So overall, quite a few interesting prospects to keep an eye on for day 3 of the draft, especially in the secondary, since the Lions need to bulk up on that secondary to get some more corners in there. Safeties, we could use an extra one since we did lose Ifeatu Melifonwu in the offseason. Even though we're pretty good there since we got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. It's mainly just another corner to complement Terry and Arnold in the long run. But overall, quite a few interesting prospects to keep an eye on. But yeah, that wraps it up for all the draft previews. I do got the Lions free agency recap video coming up in a few weeks. I am also going to be doing a video on all the NFL rule changes coming for this year. Because usually for the rule changes, I've usually saved that as a segment to begin the Lions free agency recap. But there have been so many rule changes to happen this offseason that I can't put it in that recap, and I have to give it its own video. And there is the video revisiting the 2020 NFL Draft coming up after 5 years. I am in the middle of working on that. It's just mainly taking a look at the rest of the draft to see what diamonds in the rough there were in the later rounds of the 2020 draft and undrafted. So yeah, you got all that to look forward to. But yeah, all the draft previews are done. In terms of draft previews, I'll see you back here around this same time next year for 2026. But for now, I think it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. I'm out.